Adriel Bettelheim, White House correspondent for Congressional Quarterly. President Bush's continued inability to get control of the financial crisis and his difficulty persuading even members of his party to support bailouts of the financial services sector and now the auto industry prompted us to take a look at other lame duck presidents who've left office grappling with a national emergency. The most common comparison that Bush seems to generate is with Herbert Hoover, the president who bungled the initial response to the Great Depression and finished his term in office agonizing over the response to an economy that was plummeting and pretty much doing fiscal policy that was absolutely inappropriate for the conditions of the time. Lyndon Johnson in 1965 concluded that a communist takeover of South Vietnam could only be averted by committing a large contingent of U.S. combat forces, and he became just indelibly identified with the conflict. He rushed through Congress a resolution after an alleged attack on U.S. destroyers off the coast of North Vietnam. He sort of did that to protect his political flank, though he felt that he already had all the authority he needed to deploy troops in Vietnam. But as we know, the conflict dragged out and it eroded his political base at home and created a huge public outcry. By 1967, late that year, he told a group of advisors, "I am like the steering wheel of a car without any control." And of course, in March of 1968, he announced that he would not be a candidate for re-election. Jimmy Carter was slightly different. He was trying to negotiate a resolution of a hostage crisis. U.S. embassy personnel who ultimately were held for more than 400 days by Iranian revolutionaries in Tehran. Carter had a way of personalizing the problems of state, even the more positive problems, diplomacy. He was trying to seek a peaceful resolution to the standoff. He left office really perceived as a weak leader, and to add insult to injury, the Iranians released the hostages just after the next president, Ronald Reagan, was sworn in. History isn't kind to leaders who struggle with crises, and to govern they have to show that they have a grasp of the problem, and they have to show that they are at least making some sort of a progress. The American public has shown it can be pretty forgiving and pretty patient when they get a sense that someone has a team or a plan to address a national emergency. When they sense waffling, indecisiveness, or just general weakness in leadership, it's very bad, and what happens in those final months in office almost always overshadow what happened the previous 4 or 8 years.